So toxic mothers will actually cause you harm. And it's not just this traumatic, like, meta harm that's like emotional distress, even though that does come with the territory. I want to talk about the other types of like physical violence, allowing other people to cause you physical harm and them not having any sort of like protective barrier or sense of like rational logic chain that would enable them to care or have any sort of empathy for you. Like the weird part about this is like for a very long time I kept feeling like it was just me. Oh, I'm the only person who is experiencing this. And then the brown skin exotical said something, or she made some video, and I saw the video and I was like, damn, sometimes that harm is coming from your family members. And then a whole like 100 other women liked that comment because uh, clearly I'm not the only one. And I think I made another video that was like kind of about that. But I just want to go into like more depth for a second because like some of the things that I think are like real and evident at this point are like kind of how scary and violent some men can be, right? So I don't know. I feel like if you've been on the internet for all of like at least in the past 2 or 3 years, there's just some really good, you know, video analysis that unpack the danger that many men in this society pose to women, children, other men. And a lot of it is just about like power. Sometimes it's like insecurity. Like there's all of these reasons, but like people are actually in real danger because of like the feelings and emotions of these men. So what does that have to do with kind of the sort of, what did I call it? Like the toxic mother. What does that have to do with the toxic mother? Well, the toxic mother is still a woman in society, so she's still dealing with misogyny and the patriarchy. um and usually like her whole world view is coming from missed messages by these men who have just tried to like subdue her own self-worth and confidence, which is why she's like a toxic mother in the first place. It's like society fucked her up and now it's like the whole thing in Precious, right? We've all seen the movie Precious and how that mom is like really messed up. But I mean, just or like what is it, the color purple, that sort of scenario where it's just like everyone's beating up on Seely, that old ass man. He's like beating up on Seely. And it's like when you really think about it, it's kind of like, damn, Seely would be so much better just running away. And the thing that you start to see, or I feel like the thing that I start to see in the movie, is this idea that running away always has something to do with like sexuality, right? The one woman who was like free or something, she was like a go-go girl or some sort of something in a club, and it's like you could just run away and go work at Subway. Like that could be like that could be your whole like, triumphant story of like escape. Like I took a $40 Greyhound to a city that was 4 hours away and I got a job at Subway and I just stopped talking to my mother, and then my entire life got better just by doing that. And I don't know why nobody ever says that like that's how simple sometimes it can be. It can be like just that simple. And then I think there's another thing that's very difficult because society in general is pushing these images and narratives of like all women are like this. Like, you know, people are analyzing Ballerina Farm, trad wives, all this shit. And it's like, you know, some of that is okay. Like some of that is like I get it. I feel it. It's nice. But also like but also um there's just there's other stories and there's other paths, and they're not traditional and well known by everyone, but they're very real. Like there's been a lot of people who just moved out of their little town to a smaller town, and then they just lived a peaceful life. Like that's actually a very common story too. Let's tell that story and let's like normalize that story, because that story is also real. And I think it's weird that we, like, why can't we normalize that? Lots of people go through that. That's common. Like, what's wrong with talking about that? I like that story a lot, actually. Yeah, I do. I like that story a lot. And I want us to talk about that, right? Like it's all very strange. It's not actually strange. I want to like dive into a little bit more of an example here, because like sometimes the toxic mothers will push you into the arms of an abuser, because like they think that that's where you belong, that they think that that is what you deserve. And the part that is very sad about this to me is that society is already doing all of these things to tell black women that they're worthless, that they're, they have no inherent value. They don't like have naturally any beauty, like they don't have any, all the things that like women of other groups have naturally just by being born. Like black women don't have that. That's what the society teaches us. And you could do a lot of work to like unlearn that. But there's another part of like having to live in society. Like living in society is a real experience. So if you have 100 million people coming from all sorts of places, like music videos and chats and propaganda and newspapers and all the relationships that you see in real life and fucking everything telling you like you're nothing and I can treat you this way and there's nothing you can do about it. And I can make a bunch of laws that actually hypothetically say all these things about like justice and equality. But really, like none of that shit applies to you because you're black and you're a woman. So fuck you. I truly and honestly don't care about how you really feel. Well, that sucks. Not only does it suck, it's like how can you push back against that? There's like no examples of anybody pushing back against it. And then Tyler Perry's going to make a movie about it that reinforces trauma that we actually see sometimes. Not like, let's say if you were living an experience where, maybe you did just move to a small town and you're just trying to like get away a little bit from that toxic mother, but then everything around you, all the TV shows and songs and movies, they're all just like, oh, blah, blah, blah. No, you can't do that. You have to stay here and be oppressed. It's like, I would rather just exist peacefully. I want to exist peacefully. I need to exist peacefully. And like something that I've personally experienced as an adult that's very strange is like other people and other groups projecting their stereotypes on black women is such a problem that I had to start a YouTube channel about it, describing microaggressions. If that's not fucking meta, what is? Like, that's extra meta. That's like extra, extra meta. That's legitimately what I had to do. And I'm so happy because I found, community amongst, unfortunately, Canadians, like Africans, Nigerians. Wasn't really other Black Americans. Other Black Americans seem to be vlogging about going to the mall. But like, at least we have like Canadians and Black women from other parts of the world who do have a shared experience, and they talk about that shared experience, and it can help you understand that intersectionality, which is very important in terms of like growth and ability to just cope. The ability to cope is very important, because if you don't have the like sometimes things happen and they're so strange. It's like Get Out, the movie. Like, we have the movie now, and we have so many like essays unpacking like the weirdness of the microaggressions in the movie. But what if that happened to you every single day? Every single day. And there was no one to talk to who could relate to what you were going through. Because maybe you were purple and everyone else was a magnetic rainbow starship color. And you were just purple. So we could have this concept of colors, but what's a rainbow starship glitter color? It's not even just one color, it's like all the colors. But you're just purple. And maybe like someone in a fairy tale 15 years ago told you that there was a color green in the world, but you've never seen it. You know purple because you're purple. And then you know rainbow glitter color because that's what everyone around you is. But you're purple. You see what I'm saying? We're not even speaking the same language yet. It's like I have two cats. Do you know why I have two cats? Because my cats understand each other. And there's some shit about being a cat I'm never going to understand because I'm not a cat. That doesn't matter. My cats understand each other. Toxic mothers don't understand their daughters because their daughters are like youthful, innocent. They are like trying to navigate society in ways that the toxic mothers, have never been able to successfully do. So they have kind of failed at navigating life successfully. Otherwise, they wouldn't be toxic. Like, you have to start there. Like, if they weren't toxic, they would be like navigating successfully. And I do think the one thing that we've done with counterculture, with exploiting and pushing out counterculture, all the 50 Cent movies about toxic counterculture, is we have normalized it. Because we have rap songs and we have movies and we have TV shows and we have books. And then we have the rainbow glitter people who occupy 73% of the society and are all living a relatively normal experience, but you're just purple. But now, wait, what if they start making movies about purple people and the purple experience, which is almost like an inhumane, it's not like a full human experience. It's like a sub purple experience. You see where I'm going with this. I know you kind of get it. You kind of see, right? So it's a sub purple fucking experience. And sometimes it is draining. Okay? It's draining to, maybe have to explain to other people that this purple experience is real. It's draining to have to, sit around and listen to other people gaslight your purple experience that you're really having in the real world. All of that stuff can be a bit exhausting. And I understand. I understand. Um, I just hope to help. I hope to help by simply talking about some of my own purple experiences. Toxic mothers are the worst, though. They have a violent nature to them. And I feel like I'm really starting to understand the violence my own mother, pushed onto me, and how because she's like normalized all of this like toxicity in herself, in her environment, she thinks it's okay. The best way to deal with that is removing yourself from it. You're not going to change. I'm never going to change her. I'm not going to empathize with her because if I'm purple, then she's like yellow. If I'm a human, she's like a dinosaur. I don't talk to dinosaurs because they don't exist right now. But at one point in time, they did. right? They're fossils in museums. They're old, they're outdated, and currently they're kind of fucking useless. Spend your time doing something useful. Be useful.